Welcome back to the Dummy Load, and thank you for joining us tonight on Friday, every Friday at 8 o'clock Central. It is, what's the date today? October 11th?
11.
I don't know.
11D.
Yeah, it's Friday the 11th. Woo!
Yeah, and I said that we were going to be doing some exciting stuff on the website.
He lied.
But we did add one thing that's very cool, and it's the thing that probably is the most important, the thing I've been missing the most, which is the chat tab. We have installed on our website. If you're watching us on YouTube, go to thedummyload.com and watch us there. Because in the bottom right, there's a little tiny icon of our logo. Not the one behind Dennis and Michael, but
how tiny is it?
Very.
Oh, okay. Go on.
King of the penis jokes, Dennis Howard.
Whoa, who brought
I
penises up
wasn't
this
there.
time? None of us were thinking about penises.
What? I didn't say anything about that. Wait. So go to the chat tab and tell me what you think about what Dennis meant. Because
I'm not sure I'm following.
And you can
anymore.
live chat. You can live chat.
yeah, you can live chat with the show. You can sign in with your Facebook. You can invite your friends to chat along with us. Mark is not here. Mark is the one who moderates the Twitter feed. He moderates.
He wanted to go out and party and get crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's not even really his party.
This is so by the way, as always, when someone's missing from the cast, all bets are off. Any jokes
Go.
at Mark's expense
Are allowed.
are encouraged. I told Mark today, he said he had to go to this housewarming party. So basically he has a new roommate. He's been living in this house for like a year and a half or something like that. A long time.
Right.
But he's got a new roommate, and so she's having a housewarming party for herself.
He's got a female roommate,
He has a female roommate.
and the rest are guys. That's probably weird.
It's just the two of them now. Because the one weird guy moved out.
So he lives with his.
Oh, he's got an amazing roommate story with the last guy.
It's
His
just
name is
him and a
Reggie.
girl
gosh.
living there now.
Reggie was awesome.
So,
I could tell you Reggie's stories.
okay. Well, we'll let Mark tell the stories about his roommates, but so she's having this party. He doesn't even know her.
He doesn't know her.
No, because they're both renting rooms in this house that's owned by somebody who works in
big
Dubai.
house.
Oh, so like the person that owns it gets the renters?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a strange situation.
Mark
It's like,
is only paying for the room.
hey, I live with you guys now. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, Mark has a room, and the other rooms are completely up to the landlord to go.
So bizarre.
So she's having a housewarming party,
I've never heard of a situation.
and Mark is not at the dummy load tonight because he wanted to go to the party.
He's going to a housewarming party for somebody he doesn't know.
Exactly.
At his house.
Obviously, he knows her.
He was
She's
not.
lived,
know her.
she's
He
lived there
doesn't know
for.
her.
No, she's lived there for a couple months now.
Oh, she has?
Yeah, let's sit on the back porch. We've all sat on the back porch.
Put it this way:
Oh, okay. Well,
he's not invited.
But no. Well,
no, okay. Well, that's a little better. I mean, if
He
he's
has
known her for a couple months. Like,
He's still
No.
not invited. He has a key to the party. Mark doesn't get invited to parties, obviously. So, I mean, he's obviously welcome. He lives there. He's entitled to the party.
they're
I've
decent
really
friends.
got to start listening to shows that I'm not
Strange.
on.
What'd you say?
I
said I really
specifically
need to start
listen-
listening to shows that I'm not on.
I specifically listened to him to hear what was said about me.
Well, I told Mark at work when he said that was his excuse. I was like, "That's not an excuse. That's not even."
No, not
That's-
a great excuse.
that's-
It's not even a
really
decent
bad.
reason.
I said, when you're not there, whoever's not there is going to get it. He says, I know, and you're just going to make fun of me. And I said, it's going to be a bloodbath. That was my promise to Mark.
All
And
the
so-
stories today are about how Mark sucks.
So as we're going through these stories, I want each of you to be thinking
I already have.
of a way.
How is this?
How,
Yes.
your response should be a way to twist it
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm good at
at
that.
Mark's
I can do that.
expense.
We got this.
needs
We
to
got
be-
this.
This is our game.
What's the
All
first
right?
one?
So here's what I'm going to do.
The first story is called Mark's Tiny Penis.
How tiny
Just
is
like the icon.
it? See, and I said, how tiny
What's
is it?
smaller than an icon?
Chat tab.
So go to the chat tab. If you can also come up with a joke
At Mark's
expense, that will be permanently on the chat tab.
Fantastic.
And we
I
want
like the
this.
heading.
And we will revisit it. And Mark, who's by far the most passionate vocal speaker of any of us, will respond.
Also,
So-
if you would like to title today's show, then just put the word title and then whatever you think the title should be. It has to be some joke at Mark's expense, though.
I wish we had a counter. Have you ever seen the videos where they have the counters?
Like a timer?
No, there's
Like a
counters
kitchen
where it says
counter?
how many times he says the word so they watch the video and every time he says you see the little number go up one.
Yeah.
I think that's something you have to do after the video's played. I don't think they make that live.
They
What we
don't do
call
it live.
post-production.
But I have seen counter for the videos.
Remember that time
So-
Mark said
Technology.
I wish
stupid.
I remember that.
I wish there was a way we could do that for this. So what I want to do is this. I'm gonna have to just keep my own count.
There's no way you're going to do that.
Kevin, can you keep the count?
There's no way you can do that.
Or are you already doing too much?
He's doing
I'll
too
do.
much.
I'll
Okay,
see what I can
Michael?
do.
I can keep the count.
Michael, you can keep the count?
I
Okay.
think.
So I'm going to give you this pad here,
Okay.
and I want you to put Dave, Dennis, Kevin, and Michael, however you want to do it,
Okay.
and we need to keep track of how many Mark jokes.
Like tallies, and then we'll
And
see.
we're gonna
Are we
So-
doing retroactive or are we starting now?
Oh yeah, we're starting now, but
Okay.
not. We'll say go when we start the stories,
Okay.
and you can't interrupt. It has to be. I mean, you have to play the game right. It has to be in our conversation, throwing Mark under the bus, and when you can think of something at Mark's expense, you get a point. And so this is a competition between the four of us.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So we're going to go. And if you're watching us right now, open up that chat tab
Does
and
Dennis
play
have
along.
2 N's?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Unless
I
it's the
put 2
English
N's.
spelling. I mean, like the England company.
Well, I only put one in
Company
at first,
country.
and then I was like, that is definitely not right. So I just added
Yeah.
another one.
No,
Kinda
that-
looks
that's-
like it.
that's-
Make sure you
Dinas.
make the line on the D really
That's
long. too.
Dinas.
Dinas. Make the back line long and
How tiny is it?
Dinas. How tiny is your Dinas?
Okay, this is going to be a
By Kevin's
ridiculous
parents.
show, I predict
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something.
We don't have. Okay, let's talk about something.
We haven't even introduced. Hey, this is
Segue.
Dave over here.
Segue.
I'm Davey.
This is Dave.
And,
I'm Dennis.
Michael.
That's Kevin over
I'm
there.
Kevin.
He's got a mouthful of something.
Ginger ale.
Just like Mark often has a mouthful of something.
What does that mean? That's not,
started yet?
does that
Have we
count?
started-
Hey,
have
hey,
we
wait,
started
wait,
yet?
Can I
time out.
count that?
We're gonna have to have
Yeah.
rules. Hold up.
You can't just
What are-
randomly be like,
What
F
are the
Mark,
rules?
and
What
get
are
a
the
tally.
rules? No, it is gonna be kind of like that.
No, that's
obviously.
fit in because it's like I would.
If it worked. It has to work.
it did work.
But what does that mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not gonna.
Doesn't
I
make
can't
sense.
explain
You
every.
don't- okay.
All right,
Listen,
we'll
your name is
forget-
Dinas, so we
forget
don't need
that
to hear
one.
any more about that.
Yeah, it sounded like a.
On the pad, it looks like Demis. Because I had to sneak the second N in there.
I like how he's talking about how bad it looks on the pad when he's the one that wrote it.
Yeah.
This looks really bad over here, you guys. This handwriting on this pad is terrible.
Terrible.
All right. So, coming up, we've got. I want to talk some football today. We have not had a chance to use this platform to talk about the NFL properly, and I don't really have.
I hope it's as exciting as the baseball talk.
You know what, Dennis? Nobody needs your silly name.
What?
Hey,
Dinas.
at least he's not named Mark.
Oh, good point.
Point.
That, really?
Wait,
That?
yes, it doesn't.
It's got to be
Makes sense.
funny.
No, that makes sense.
He said
Oh
he's
my
a stupid
God,
name.
I
really?
liked it. Yeah.
That's got to be funny.
Hey, I'm the judge and the referee of this.
In that joke, the name Mark is not a very good name. That was where I
If
was
only
going.
his name was Dinas.
I made fun of him for his name of Mark.
That was a bad joke. Like Mark tells bad jokes. Ooh, burn.
That would work.
I think that counts.
I'm the referee. Oh, no, I'll make it fun.
I'm cool. I'm cool with
That
that
one
one.
goes.
I'm cool with that one. I just couldn't do the. Well, guess also Mark has things in his mouth. I'm like, what? I didn't get it. Like I couldn't tell if that was a joke.
I
I don't want to.
You know, hey,
Right.
maybe it's
explain that.
maybe it's a compliment. I don't know what
I
you
can fit like 35 grapes in my mouth. One time I counted. Green ones.
green ones.
green ones.
Those are the bigger ones.
Oh, thank goodness.
Just saying.
For a minute, I thought you meant purple. I was like, what?
No way, that's way too tall.
I was like, that is cray-cray.
Gosh.
Okay, so football. Let's talk some football. Also, Banksy has made the news.
Banksy's
And the only reason I know who Banksy is because of my brother.
Yay!
Yeah. Why do we know about that?
Huzzah!
The one thing Michael has contributed to my life.
Huzzah!
The one
You
thing.
mean your brother has a tattoo of a rat on his leg?
Yeah,
Which brother?
it's all right.
Caleb.
Mark has a tattoo. Mark has a tattoo of a snake on his leg.
Yeah, but that's cool.
They're into dirty, filthy animals.
Yeah. The
Permanently
next
on
thing
their
I'm
body.
gonna get is a possum crawling up my neck. And the dumpster will be right across my
Yeah.
stomach.
A slug
Like
on your
it
butt
crawled.
cheek.
The dumpster will be on my stomach, waste management, and then it'll be just all up my face.
If it's gonna be waste management, it should be on your butt.
This show is going to go
So,
nowhere good.
I'm excited about that. I didn't know you made the news.
So
Cool,
yeah,
let's get
he's
through
in the
this
news.
football.
The Detroit mayor got arrested.
Finally.
28 years in jail.
Kwame Kilpatrick was an idiot.
Okay, so
Danica Patrick?
Kwame.
Oh.
James Woods on Twitter has made some enemies, and actually he's made some more friends because he's been very critical of the president. And we talked about some of the stuff that's been going on,
Huzzah.
and I thought one of his tweets was worth revisiting.
James Woods.
Huh? I brought back Jose
James
can say
Woods.
what? What? It's a real quick one. It's real easy, but it's funny. We have a couple of videos. Michael did not submit the videos again, and this is the third week in a row.
I was sick.
Yeah. So Michael's
Okay, so
video
you were
segment
sick.
is now
I was
not
lazy.
run by
Too
Michael.
sick to send an email.
I was sick.
Too sick
And,
to
yeah.
send
And
an
what were you
email.
doing while you
I
were
was
sick? I
lazy.
bet you were watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, primarily.
There you go.
And
Okay, let me just set it real quick.
let me just say
I'm
this.
not-
There's a share button.
Yeah, let me just
On
say this.
YouTube.
That's a good
My
YouTube,
phone can't.
YouTube has a link of what that video is and where to find it.
Yep, it sure does.
You copy
I
Yeah,
know.
copy.
I
You
know
text.
Yeah, you just text
or
it.
can't
email.
text
You know, you email too.
Yes,
my
you
phone.
can.
No. I have to take my phone to T-Mobile. It's like really jacked up.
Wait, so you're watching videos on a
seriously.
computer?
Hang on a
You can
minute.
use the
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to make up excuses. We're saying I could have sent them today earlier.
Anyway,
But-
point is Michael's lazy, but we do have two
Yeah.
videos.
Timeout. Just if you're listening to the podcast, we had some technical difficulty and it stopped, but we should have only.
Way to ruin the show,
seconds,
Kevin.
So.
So are we broadcasting right now?
Oh,
Yeah,
Mark
we're
was gonna run the
broadcasting. It
show.
was just
That was
just a
Kevin.
podcast for some reason.
Okay.
Stopped. So we got
All right.
started again.
So I'm afraid we're going to run through these real quick, but
don't
I
think we
wanted.
will.
You don't think so?
Run through what?
It doesn't seem like it.
No,
Now that we've got
we
Mark
just
jokes
spent
to
like
make,
we just spent the first 12 minutes or whatever ripping.
You think we're going to run through what? The story?
and talking about Denise or whatever?
Yeah, we're seriously
Venus.
quarters through the
Venus.
show. We haven't talked about anything.
Yeah,
Well, we've
we
talked
covered
about.
anything.
We've talked about. Let's see here.
Mark sucks.
Michael's lazy,
rats, dumpsters,
dirty,
possums.
dirty, filthy animals
There's
that
a
we should put on my brother
bug in my
permanently.
glass.
Denise.
You're gonna add to it. All right. You weren't playing the game. We had to
Yeah.
think about things.
There was
we
a
talked
Mark
about.
joke there somewhere. You totally
There was
dropped
a
the
Mark
ball.
joke. We,
Right now, me, you, and Dave are tied.
What if Mark's name was Denis?
Kevin!
No.
Heyo! Point.
That,
I'm the ref.
what? That might.
Is that a joke?
I
Yeah.
just like Kevin more than you two.
That's terrible.
That's the point.
That's terrible.
Kevin, you keep this up, you will be in first, my man.
I tell you
Thank
what,
you.
if Michael gives Kevin those ones, you have to give Dennis his.
Nope.
I mean,
He did.
geez,
He gave Dennis his.
not the
Yeah, I
first
gave
one.
him one. That one was dumb. You said it yourself.
I know, but so was Kevin's. How are you going to say
Kevin's
Kevin?
was worse than
Well,
mine.
then we
What
could
if-
debate yours.
What if Mark's
could
name?
debate them all.
Hey,
even a joke.
I'm way more likable than Dennis.
the point.
What if Kevin's name, or what if Mark's name is Denis? That's not a-
Okay.
Go ahead and give Dave a point for that one,
What is
Michael.
Because you repeated it. This is short.
Yeah, I'll get
We're
this
so
one.
off the rails
That's
right
fair.
now.
I thought this was every time anyone ripped on Mark.
People are gonna think
If you
we're
rip on
high
Mark,
or
you get
something
the point.
recording the show.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So Dave's in the
ADD
lead.
today.
Dave's in the lead.
All right. Well, and if you're watching the show, if you're one of our live viewers, please do not text me on the show because I'll read the text.
Like an idiot,
From
because
who?
you're
Who
on
we
a
got?
radio show
Yeah.
with
Who
your
you guys-
phone.
Who you guys text from?
Okay, so
I
I got a
should turn
text
mine
from a good friend of mine named Mary, and she says the show is funny today.
Oh, great.
A perfect thing that could go on the chat tab.
Which we were promoting at the beginning if you were watching.
If you're
Well,
my friend and you're watching
also,
the show, do text me because I'd like
This
to know
show
that you're
is
watching.
funny clearly because Mark's not here.
Yes.
Oh, zing.
Zing.
Boom, David
All right.
and Kevin, neck and neck.
All right, so there you
All
go.
day.
So Mariella,
Yeah, Mark will probably text because he's stupid.
have a message for Mariella.
Fishing, Dennis, fishing.
Sorry, see, that's why we need to quit this contest.
I don't mind
No.
the contest, but you have to wait your turn.
Yeah, Dennis is just
So-
throwing
Yeah, like
grenades
Mark
into a
never waits
pond,
his turn.
hoping to get some fish.
If you haven't heard, go to the bottom corner where you see our logo. It's a very tiny logo
Uh-huh.
in the bottom corner of the screen.
Keep it
Click
together.
on it,
Keep it together. I see you going into the
and
mic.
you can log in and you can chat.
Yes,
And we will see great comments like the show is really funny.
You can log in with Twitter, Facebook. You can create a login with the service itself.
Are you
Log in
talking to
with
people,
something else.
Kevin?
Well, I would be if there were people.
I'm just okay. Hypothetically,
Yeah.
Hypothetically, yes, I'm talking to people. Right now, I've talked to myself. That's
Okay, well that's fine. It's all right.
that's fine.
It's the first time. It's the first week we've had
Yeah.
it, and
It's going to take people a little bit to get used
yeah,
to it.
it's
so.
not. It's not something you'd find naturally. It's not something you'd see.
By the way, if
So-
you're having problems with it or there's any issues, shoot us.
Please go in the chat
yeah.
tab and let us know.
Are any of you guys playing fantasy football this year?
Comment on Facebook.
No.
or Twitter.
No.
No.
I played fantasy football 1 year.
Yep.
I won the entire thing, and I still don't get the appeal.
Yeah, I played last year. We all played last
Yeah,
year,
right.
and this year I just didn't do it, just for whatever
I
reason.
didn't
And
get
I'm-
it. Like I said, even though I won, I was like still like it's just like a chore to have to like do this every week, and it's like. And most people say, well, it makes every game important. Then I can watch every game and be excited. I'm like,
It's true.
I don't really want to have to feel like I need information from every game. I don't care.
I feel like whenever I play fantasy football or I watch people that play fantasy football, it's like, all right, I'm ready to root for my team. You know, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm gonna root for the Cowboys.
Would you root against your team?
And then you find out find yourself rooting against your team because you
I
need
hate
the
that.
one guy on the other team that you've got to run
I
for
hate
another
that.
That's
30
where, like-
yards so that you can win.
That's like what Jason would always do. Like the Chargers would be playing. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers, and he's like, he'll be cheering for like the other team, like tackling my guy or you know,
Who's
whatever.
cheering for the Saints?
You end up
Yeah, I'd be
cheering,
cheering
for,
for the
both
wrong
teams.
team. And I'm like, what are you doing? I thought you were cheering for the Chargers with me. And he's like, well, no, I want the Chargers to win, but I just want that guy to get some points.
I love the game. I think it's such a cool idea. I think it was really fun.
You end up rooting for both teams.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And I thought everything about it was great except the football part of it because I really don't watch any football. So I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah, you were terrible. I think you got last place.
Yeah, but on the league I accidentally joined, I came in second.
You accidentally.
He accidentally
lie.
joined.
Yeah.
It automatically drafted for him. He didn't make a single trade.
And you got
Didn't even-
second place.
I didn't.
second
Yeah,
place.
and I didn't even
The
know.
hell?
I didn't even know I still had it. And the day's like, wait, you're still on the other team.
So like the week his quarterback
oh,
was
That's
had
an
a bye
example
week.
of like why it's all kind of BS. Cause
Okay. Well, if you are a fantasy football player, you would really one of the hottest players for the last few years has been Adrian Peterson.
Definitely.
Adrian Peterson scores fantasy points like nobody's business. There are people who have won lots of money in fantasy football because they got Adrian Peterson. And breaking news today was his son died. Took his son into the hospital and
Because
for
of
head
what?
injuries, and he died in the hospital. And his wife, or the son's mom's boyfriend, is being charged.
What?
So I guess they must have separated. The kid was with his mother and his mother's new boyfriend, and I guess he beat the crap out of him, and which
What?
caused him to die. And the kid, how old was
He was 2.
2?
2-year-old boy? Yeah.
Jeez.
Good night. He could have been slapping around the girl, and she had the baby in her hands. I mean, they're,
Yeah, I mean, 2 years old is pretty
Whatever.
fragile.
I mean,
so.
The story's fantastic enough that he beat up the kid, hit him so hard that he got head injuries, had to go to the hospital, and then ended up dying.
That's crazy.
So the boyfriend's actually being charged, which is good, and Adrian Peterson's got to be a mess. So that's too bad. I was going to tell you
That
should
may
maybe
affect.
trade him.
Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
What are you touching over there?
Inappropriate,
My
Kevin.
bad.
Yeah, it was a real Mark move. Don't play with that when I'm having a serious moment.
His son died.
Yeah.
Wah, wah. Yeah. Kevin, you heartless.
It's like cricket.
Yeah.
I need to get crickets.
You do need to get crickets. We need crickets. That's better than
And a
that.
duck.
I don't like the one that's like that. That one.
Yeah, it's kind of obnoxious.
Oh yeah,
It takes forever.
it's too slow.
It takes forever.
And
It's
all
so
in your
loud.
ear.
Oh. Anyway, so
Oh gosh, why would you do that?
that's what I
We
mean.
all just said we hate it.
So
Kevin
long.
just totally marked that up.
That was something Mark would do.
Wait a mark.
I think Michael wins just for
Can we wrap this show up? I gotta go take a big mark.
Yes.
I gotta drop a mark.
I gotta go take a rowdy Buman.
Yes.
I don't even know what that means.
That's his last name.
I got that part.
Oh,
Gotta drop a mark. You never heard these phrases?
That one, I just never heard anybody say a rowdy anything.
So another thing that we have actually some videos from Michael, right? So we can do this. Oh no, wait, Michael didn't bring the videos, and that was
I
what
did.
we were talking about. Dennis saved the day and has some videos to compete. Michael, you're fired from the videos.
No, he's not, because I don't
He's
want to have to
fired.
do it every week.
Dennis,
You're rehired, Michael. Congratulations,
hard
you got
to
the
find
job.
a video.
Let's see how the videos go before we promote.
You have
Yeah.
7 days.
Listen, I know. But it's shocking how many videos either are littered with swear words, massively political, massively long,
You're not.
and Christian. That's basically what I watch.
Well,
A lot of
watch more
fail
videos.
and swearing in it because that's what people do when they get hurt. So I watch that, then I watch politics, and then I watch sermons and stuff. So it's like those are the three things. So it's actually kind of tricky. You're like, wait,
I
I have to
don't
read.
care.
He went
You
high
still
voice.
have
I think
7
he's telling the
days.
truth.
To come up with 2 videos that you enjoy.
I'm not trying to cop out. My fault.
You're
I'll
telling
send the
me
video.
that-
Send the video.
You're telling me you have access to YouTube and you cannot find an
No,
entertaining
no,
1
no.
to 3 minute video. It's impossible. I
I'm
get
not
no
saying
idea.
that. I'm not
With
saying
only
that.
how many times have you brought videos, Michael? How many
I'm not
times
saying-
since we
like,
started
like
this?
3 or 4.
2.
3.
2 out of 5. He's only done it 40% of the time.
Yes, and yes. So
Yeah,
you've
3
you've
times.
brought 4 videos to the table. One of the times the videos didn't work, and so you have those waiting to be used again,
Y'all never used
but
that?
you don't even bring them.
So what he's
Send
trying
it
to say
Mark's
is let's
email,
play the
then.
first video.
Wham.
Michael, you're fired. Dennis, you're on the job.
Yay.
So
More responsibility for the same pay.
we're not.
No, you're getting a 10% raise.
We're going
Oh,
to give
good.
a qualified, listener's warning because we haven't fully vetted.
One of the videos
Oh,
is
great.
edited
It
because
is.
of where it comes from. The other one probably has 1 or 2, maybe slightly questionable.
Well, I mean, we don't necessarily ban swear words, but when you have a video of people getting startled and waking up and it's just F word after F word, that's a little much.
These
when
are,
you've got
these aren't going to
people
have
listening.
a lot, much of that.
So anybody who listens to our show knows it's an adult show. I mean, we have, jokes about toilet humor all the time and stuff like that. But they also know that we don't go out of our way to be offensive. And so,
unless your name is Dinas.
yeah. So it's like just our discretion. That's the internet. I mean, we've got
Right.
freedom of speech. We can say what we want.
Right.
We just want to be considerate
Right.
of what other people enjoy. So let's play the first video, which will have low to medium swearing.
Low to medium.
I've never seen it.
It's a great
Now when people make fun of me, I deserve it. I do. When people get mad at me now, it's my fault. Like when people get mad at me on the highway, that's all my bad. I'm a terrible driver. I know nothing about cars. I meant to learn about cars, and then I forgot. Nothing that I know can help you with your car ever, unless you're like, hey, I've got a flat tire. Does anyone here know a lot about The Cosby Show? And then you'll be like, oh, perhaps I could be of some assistance. I'm one of the worst drivers I've ever seen, and I just want you all to know that if you're ever on the highway behind me, I hear you honking, and I also don't want me to be doing what I'm doing. I don't like that I'm in that lane either, and I sure would like to get out of it. I was on the highway in Texas recently, which was like a highway filled with 13-year-olds, and I was in the far left lane. And I was going in the far left lane, and then it turned into a U-turn only lane. And I started to make a U-turn, but then I panicked because I didn't want to make a U-turn. So I put the car in reverse and then merged right back onto the highway. The best thing about that was that after that, cars were pulling up and looking over to see who just did that piece of shit move, expecting to see like a 100-year-old blind dog who's texting while driving and drinking a smoothie. Instead, they see a 28-year-old healthy man trying his best.
That was brilliant. I don't know if that's going to get beat.
That's pretty good.
That's
pretty good.
Who is that guy? I've never seen him.
John Mulaney. He's actually one of the writers for SNL. But he's also a stand-up comedian.
Oh, man. That was
He's
funny.
pretty funny. You should look up some of his other stand-up.
28-year-old healthy male doing his best. Oh, man. We got to stop putting comedians on. They're way funnier than us.
Yeah, it's hard to top that.
While we're on the football topic, one of the things that's been circulating and people are discussing right now is the Washington Redskins. The name Redskins, I've always thought, was a very basically the equivalent of the N-word.
I thought they were talking about potatoes.
Or so did Mark. And so I thought it was basically the equivalent of the N-word, basically the equivalent of cracker. Or
calling somebody a
derogatory, not that, but a derogatory.
Not that bad, Dennis.
No, a national or racist thing, and so I thought, well, rich people named it that way back in a time when we weren't so sensitive, but and that's what a lot of people are kind of fighting. So I thought this video was actually very interesting. They have the Redskins as the name of the football teams in Oklahoma. In schools that are very heavily populated by the Native American community. And the vast majority of Native Americans are in this fight, and they actually want to keep it.
It's supposed to mean like courage. Like it's like, yeah.
Redskins means courage?
No, it doesn't mean, you don't say you're a real redskin on the football field.
Pretty
today.
sure.
But yeah, that's what the...
I'm pretty sure it means skin as in epidermis and red as in the color.
No, it's like pride. And it was
like
supposed to be said when they were like...
It's like saying, yeah, the Falcons, that means bravery. Now it's a bird.
San Diego.
Which means...
Redskins.
It's dumb.
Let's
Michael,
dissect...
that's something Mark would say.
Let's dissect the word together before the video. Redskins.
That's just what I thought. I didn't think it was a racist term.
No, it's not a racist term.
They like it.
Okay. That might have been a racist statement. So, anyway, I thought this video was kind of fascinating, and I know it's a debate and it's a hot debate. One thing I'm sick of, though, and I think the majority of common sense thinking people. I'm sorry, I'm boring you, Dennis. I'm sorry that
I'm listening.
I'm sorry that I can't be.
Just because I had to yawn.
Can't keep your interest.
Well, I got to derail the show because I yawned.
Why do you have to derail the show by yawning in everybody's face?
I think you're the only one that noticed, Steven.
And I was offended. Did you call me Steven?
Even.
Okay.
No, Steven. No.
Why would he call it?
That's why
you're the only one that
that's
knows
why I had to ask.
Steven.
Yeah, you're the one that knows Steven. I was like, yeah, something's wrong with Dennis. I have no
I'm not
idea
even sure whether they even
That
mean.
was the show blowing up.
Okay. Maybe we should end on that note.
Sound of
But
Redskins.
one thing I'm just sick of is people who are offended. All these people who are offended at the football team that's been named that way since before anyone of them was born.
Like Mark.
Is offended on behalf of somebody so and so, and you're just inventing reasons. Nobody cares.
Right.
Stop being.
Yeah.
Stop being.
There are
butthurt.
people who look for things to be offended
Yeah.
about.
I bet there's a lot of Falcons that are offended by that when they play poorly.
If you're.
You know what that reminds me of? It's kind of a side note, but it kind of fits in with the conversation. You know that song Royals? Do you know what song?
Yes, I love that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, I love that song too. It's very catchy. It's like all over the radio. It's like #1 hit or whatever.
She's only 16.
She's only 16. And there was like some blog or article that somebody wrote, which I'm glad is getting like a lot of flack because the article was stupid. The person that wrote the article was accusing that girl of being a racist because the song's talking about how like, oh, you know, you take all your diamonds and your fancy cars and your gold grills and all that stuff. I don't need all that stuff. And the person who wrote the article was like, she's obviously talking about black people and how like stupid they are and all they want is like money and stuff. Like,
No, that's racist.
you're the one who's being racist by associating with that. So it's like she's like an example of somebody she's just looking for something to complain about. Like, how are you going to take that and then if you're the one attributing it to a certain race, then you're the one being racist.
Well, what I'm sick of the conversation. Who cares?
Yeah.
What if she is?
Yeah, it's freedom of speech.
Then I don't
racist
like
if she
it.
wants.
And so now I know her opinion. I know more about her, and I will not support
I'm
her
not going to
music.
buy the song on iTunes.
Thank you for letting me know who you are.
Yeah.
But I don't really care. Her opinions do not affect my life. In a world of 7 billion different opinions on different things.
Why are we getting so
That's
hung
what
up?
bugs me a lot these days is like it's like people get mad when somebody expresses their point of view and they don't like their point of view.
All
It's
you gotta
like
do is complain.
that's what freedom of speech is. You
Yeah.
can say whatever you want.
You
If
do
you don't
not-
like it, stop listening
Yeah,
to it.
you do not have the right to be offended. If I say something you don't like, you can close the browser and there are other shows to watch. You don't have to get up in arms and boycott and get in my face and try and make me apologize or change my. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
even care. It's not
I would
like
say they have the right to be offended because
Sure.
that's a natural reaction. But I mean, if you're offended, then you're offended. Who
Yeah,
You
cares?
don't have the right to
Move
come
on.
and try
You don't
to
have.
change.
Yeah, you
I
don't have the
don't
right
care.
to try to change somebody for
Yeah,
it.
I don't care what your opinion is if you're going to be mad at me for my opinion. So
Yeah.
we're at a standstill. So go away.
Yep.
And that's kind of, I think, the attitude of most people. But that's not what dominates the media. That's not what we're pounded in. It's not what's pounded into our heads.
Mhm.
And so anyway, I thought this video was interesting. It's food for thought, and
On the Redskins.
it comes from it comes from a better understanding or the other side of the coin, in my view.
So, Kevin, can you play that video?
The president has come out and said the name Redskins is racist and insults the American Indian community. He said the owner should change the name.
If it had a storied history that was offending a sizable group of people, I'd think about changing it.
Let's look into this a bit, shall we? 90% of Native Americans feel the name isn't offensive and shouldn't be changed. It's actually an honor. Students at primarily Native American schools all across America wear the name with pride and now say they're afraid they might lose the name. In Kingston, Oklahoma High School, 58% Native American. The name Redskins has been worn by its students for 104 years. In fact, Redskins was a name first used by Native Americans. It's a name that honors the people. The word Oklahoma is Choctaw for red people, says a teacher from the school. So, it's not us. It's, quote, people who have no connection to the Native American culture. People out there trying to draw attention to themselves who are really out of touch, end quote. In 1932, the NFL team moved to the historic Fenway Park. They were left under the leadership of George Preston Marshall. The very next year, Marshall changed the name to Redskins. Why? That's the question the president should ask and answer. Because if he did, he would know it was changed to Redskin to honor the then coach Lone Star Dietz, an American Sioux. So the name actually pays tribute to a great people. But the people it pays tribute to Oh, I guess they just don't know any better. But Obama does. Oh, sure, Peter King does. The NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell does. But the majority of Indians, 90% of the Indians in the tribe, oh, they apparently have no clue at all. The speech police using political correctness again to take care of those helpless, hopeless people so they're never ever harmed again. You know, it's for their own good. Or is it? It sounds a little less like help and a little more like a reservation.
That reminds me of a Brian Regan joke. Do you know what you would call, if you had second thoughts about booking time at an Indian casino?
No.
A reservation.
Reservation about making a reservation at the reservation?
Yeah.
Nice.
You're having reservations about it.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, they do like it.
They do.
They
Well,
find honor in it.
according to
That's
that
right.
video.
Boom.
But now Kevin seems to think that we have some viewers that would not.
What?
Is that correct, Kevin? Or
Well, I thought we would have some viewers that might have something to say. But
would you speak
Maybe we
for
don't.
them
Maybe we
since they're
don't.
not speaking up?
I don't know. I don't think that they would have necessarily disagreed. I think they would have probably
Had a better understanding because they live in an
'cause they
area
live
of
in
the
an
country
area.
where that's a more prominent discussion.
Exactly.
We live in Texas. We don't care.
Right.
We don't know. We
Yeah,
don't.
we
People in our city are not. That's not a main topic for.
we don't
us.
have a reservation on
Yeah.
our back door.
Yeah.
You know.
If we see people, yeah.
You know why that was frustrating? I was driving up in the UP, like way out in the middle of the UP, up by the Keweenaw. Keweenaw? Oh, that's the upper peninsula of Michigan.
Oh.
Okay.
And the Keweenaw was that little horn that goes up even more north. And there was this Indian like gas station store. Gas was like $1.98,
When?
and cigarettes were like
Recently?
$3. Yeah, no, yeah, this is last year. And we were allowed to go and buy stuff there,
Wow.
and we're not Indian.
Gas
it was
is
like
getting down where it's almost under
at
$3.
first. I know, it's awesome. But at
It
first, I
won't
was
last.
like, man, like everything here is so cheap. This is crazy. I was like, wait a minute.
They don't pay tax.
Everyone else is paying that much? At that time, when I went up there, gas was like, $3.59, and cigarettes are $7 there. It's like $2 for a pack, and it's $1.90 for a gallon, and the milk is like 50 cents.
But to be fair, their cigarettes is like wood shavings.
It's not actually tobacco.
No, it's like
Peyote.
yeah, it's like smoke.
Peyote.
It's like smoking dried carpet. It's terrible.
Carpet.
I've had
Awesome.
when I was
carpet.
when I was in
Wet carpet's fine. Wet carpet.
when I lived in Alabama, they had these little Indian cigarettes. Yeah, I think they were spirits or something, and they were only like $1.25 for the pack.
Were they
And-
candy cigarettes?
No, these were real
They had
cigarettes.
Popeye on it.
They said they were real cigarettes. I tried one of them, and I mean, I couldn't even. It was like,
Smokers are jokers, Dave.
Huh?
Smokers are jokers.
yes, they are.
Mark's a smoker.
Yeah.
Well, Mark's an idiot. What do you expect?
Crap. Never
I
gonna
wish
catch
Mark-
up if
I-
any
I
of you
wish-
jump off.
I wish Mark was on Twitter tonight because, we'd be getting something from him.
Right.
But I don't even think he's watching the show.
No, well,
No,
he's
he's not. He's
busy
at a party.
partying it up.
Partying it up.
Wow.
Do you know, just before we got the Redskins thing, I was going to say, and I really want to say it, I got accused of being racist at Starbucks.
Okay.
Like, really bad.
Why,
So I
what'd you
called
do?
the manager, and she fired the girl.
Wait, what?
One of the people who work there accused you of being
Tell
racist?
the story.
Yeah,
Tell
and
the whole
I
story,
called the
'cause-
manager, and she fired the employee.
That's a
What?
Yeah. Never seen this girl. Oh, well, actually, that's kind of a lie. I have a Starbucks right by my house. I go in there, like, all the time, right? Because it's really close. And so there was this black chick that
Well,
started
to
working
be fair, you said, I want my coffee black like those people I don't like.
there. That's
right?
exactly what I said.
Is that what you said?
Were you there?
I would have said
That's
that. I
weird.
would have said something too, Michael. I wouldn't let that go without me protesting.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
That's a
But
shameful thing
listen,
to say.
Listen, so, Starbucks has very high standards for how you're supposed to treat a customer. Like, very high.
Okay.
It's actually hard. Like, if you walk in the door and they don't greet you within 30 seconds, they get huge marks against, they get in big trouble. Like, they have, because I worked there for a while. So, she's trying to make my drink personal. That's what you're supposed to. Every drink has to be unique. The way you talk to the customer, every experience has to be different and all that stuff. So, she, so a couple times I went in there, she was like, "Oh, how are you doing today?" I'm like, "Good, how are you?" "Good," and that was it, right? So I've never talked to this chick. Well, then she's making my coffee, and I'm standing there.
Is there a faster way to tell this story?
Yeah, I'm almost.
Okay.
Jeez,
Let him tell it.
Never let me finish.
It goes slower when you interrupt him.
Yeah,
I'm just
honestly.
curious.
So she had something embroidered on her apron, which wasn't allowed when I worked there. So I was like, "Hey, what's on your apron?" That wasn't allowed when I used to work at Starbucks. And she was like, it said like, I don't remember what it said. It started with a V, is this big word. And I was like, what is that? And she was like, "Oh, it's my middle name." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I looked away, totally nothing. And then she goes, she's like, "You would." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "You would think that was my middle name." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "You thought that was my middle name because I'm black, didn't you? You would think that, wouldn't you?" And I was like, "Whoa, what are you talking about?" I threw my hands up. I was like, what the heck are you talking about? And she's like,
No, I thought that because I trust you.
What was the
Yeah.
word?
I don't remember what it said. Sort of the view was like Versales against. It's all in cursive, big word right across her apron, which wasn't allowed. So now they've obviously banned that. You're allowed to do that. And so I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" I was like, "I was just believing you." And she's like, "No, you thought that because I was black. That's pretty typical. Wow." And I was like,
So you
"What?"
said it.
So I called. So I went out and I was like, I'm not pro getting people in trouble or anything, but I was like, but I'm not going to be called a racist when I go into my favorite Starbucks.
Good for you.
So I called the manager and I was like, "Look, I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble." I was like, but the girl started freaking out, calling me a racist, and I was like, and that was clearly not the case. I was like, it's very inappropriate. I used to work at Starbucks. I know the standards. She felt, and the manager's like, "Whoa, that's kind of weird. It doesn't really seem like her." And I was like, "Honestly, there's nothing." And she's like, "Well, okay." The next day, I watched her walk out of the store without her stuff, and I never saw her again.
Well, probably she had a history.
Yeah, she might have.
Yeah.
And also,
For
she
someone to
may
spout
have,
off like that.
Also, she may have quit and she didn't get fired.
Well, no, if like you can get fired for almost nothing there.
Oh.
Like they're very
Just because they fired you doesn't mean that you can get fired for almost nothing. You had it coming.
She did.
Mark clearly would have gotten
I want
fired.
to know what the word was.
And I'll give you a simple
All right.
tally.
The word was Veronique.
Veronique.
I don't know.
It sounded like Mark.
Now you're being racist,
no,
dude.
I'm-
Does that sound like a?
Does that
It sounded like
black
Michael was
person's
saying
middle name?
To
Versailles.
be fair, I was guessing at what a black person's middle name might be. If
You
it was,
disgust me. Just like
I'm
Mark.
sorry.
Felicia.
All right, no, let's not start with that.
I was like, I've got about 4 ideas in my head ready to go.
Yeah.
So, Banksy.
Yes.
Banksy is in New York.
Okay.
And I'm not going to read this whole article. I'll let you tell me more about Banksy because you like
will
the
read
guy.
it.
His name is Banksy, the rarely seen British graffiti painter whose legions of fans see his work as great art. Banksy recently arrived in America and started what his website calls an artist's residency on the streets of New York. Each day during his, quote, residency, Banksy is posting a snapshot of his latest project and includes the location for fans to check out. The work varies from simple stencils like the one below, which adds a clever comment on an existing bit of graffiti in large detail mirrors. So you see the word occupy. And underneath it, he put in like swirl writing, the musical. And so he took a picture in that. Apparently his website is getting the credit for this. So in one, he paints a whole car. And then there's one where it's really small and it's in one of the most dangerous areas, and it's a beaver.
Mhm.
I can show you guys, but you can't see it in the. Well, I wish I could show you,
Okay.
but anyway, so there's people are going. The crime rate in this specific area is like way compared to like New York as a whole. It's like 100
Ridiculous.
times bigger, and so this is a really dangerous area. And someone went and stencil painted this beaver. So
Are lesbians?
I don't understand the point. I mean, graffiti to me is not. I mean, if it's well done, which Banksy is a good artist, it's cool. It's like, wow, look, they made this ugly wall, something that's kind of cool to look at. Like, I get that.
Yeah, I think the problem is they have to have a general stand. They can't say, all right, cool looking graffiti is okay, but if you just got those tagging chicken scratch stuff, then no, that's
in a
not
very
okay.
big gray area when it comes to legality. Because what they do in England is they put up plastic over top of his stuff so that you can't mark on it or touch it or anything, and then people come with chisels and take out chunks of the wall and sell it for like $500,000 or $1 million. So his stuff is gone for, and so it's kind of like England loves it, but they don't at the same time. So it's kind of this.
It's funny. There's a video of these two guys in New York. Mm-hmm. They're covering up the beaver with the box.
Mm-hmm.
Tee-hee. They've got like this big piece of cardboard, and they're standing in front of it, and there's people trying to get pictures of it, and I think they were charged. I don't know because the video is kind of.
They were charging people?
I think they were charging people
to take a photo of Banksy's work.
They're like, well, and they're like, all right, and so the guy's like, hey, let her, like, so he moves the cardboard, and they like click. He's like old tourist. But the funny thing is, in this case, it's actually doing something good because the people taking the pictures are obviously not from there. They're tourists. They want to see Banksy's art, and so they're going to these impoverished areas where he's been painting.
Right.
But now it says the rarely.
But who's getting the money?
Has anybody seen him? Is the idea that is he still sort of unknown, or has he come out?
No, he's pretty unknown. He made over £1 million of fake money. So and
how does he just like get in there and
how did he
paint
make
something
$1 million quid?
He drew it and then printed it himself in his warehouse and then crumpled it up and was giving it to tons of people just to see if they take it, and they did, and they didn't get found out for like a couple of weeks. But instead, the crazy thing is he drew it himself with a pencil, the first one, and instead of the Queen, he put Princess Diana on it.
Well, that's stupid for someone to take that. It's not the same.
I know, but people fell for it. He was like, I kind of did it as a joke, but holy cow, it got way out of hand.
There is amazing how I read some story one time about somebody took this like novelty $1 million bill to Walmart or something and tried to use it to pay, and the cashier didn't say, "Oh, that's fake."
Didn't have change.
Yeah, she said, I don't have change for that."
I don't have
900,000.
I don't have $999,906.
I've only got a couple hundred. Would you take that?
Yeah.
So
stupid. That's crazy. It's in the U.S. though. I got the rat with the paintbrush. That was the first thing you ever did in the U.S. in L.A.
So, show your rat with the paintbrush.
I'll see what I can do.
Can you put it up here? Kevin, can you help with this?
You can kind of see it.
Still pretty infected on the paintbrush point. I see.
You can't zoom or anything like that. Is it still infected on the paintbrush?
Yeah, I think it might be allergic to the red, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
So it'll all come out eventually, and then I'll have to redo it, or use a dirty needle, which would be.
I thought the rat looked like an old man with a cane.
It is.
It is?
One kid walked up and was like, "Why do you have a sorcerer mole on your cat?"
Sorcerer mole?
A mole that's a sorcerer.
Wow. We should probably show that second video.
Okay, let's do it.
You ready for that?
Farts
Kevin?
take a lot of for being. They do. People. People think that that's lowbrow humor or it's stupid humor. To me, a fart is funny. A fart. Let's break down a fart for a second. Okay, it comes out of your ass. Okay, it smells.
I like you went with that number one.
Yeah,
that was number one.
It comes out of your ass. It comes out of your ass. It smells like poop because it's been just hanging out next to it for a long time. And it makes a little trumpet noise when it comes out. I mean, come on, man. What's not funny about that? Your ass flesh rubs together and it makes a toot noise that smells like poop that comes out of your ass. That's hilarious. That's the funniest thing in the world. Here's what I would say is that you don't have to be smart to laugh at farts, but you have to be stupid not to. Farts take a lot of...
Yeah, that's brilliant.
The best fart segment I've ever heard.
It's way better when we talk about farts.
And you know who hates farts is Mark. Anything
anything funny,
poop, fart, or generally enjoyable.
Because Mark has no
Mark
sense of humor
is-
because he's
yeah.
a terrible person.
I don't know if that's a joke. I don't know if that's a joke or a statement. I don't know if I can count that as a joke because Mark is a terrible person.
Well, you're not the judge.
It's true. Actually, the show's way better when Mark's here. It's a lot better when he's interacting with us. And
He has a
hopefully,
sick Twitter feed.
hopefully, if he watches this episode, he'll go, "Well, that's the last darn time I'll let them." You know.
Or
That's the
he'll
last time
never
I'm gonna
show
let
his
them
face.
mark
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
either going to say,
Yeah.
I'm never going to miss, or I'm never going to go.
Yeah. I think Mark, you need to do a Twitter that says, "Boy, that show got marked up."
Yes.
They really marked that show up.
Yeah, that was a giant pile of
He
mark.
won't. If he
Yeah.
was,
A steaming pile of mark.
Yeah.
That- so
he's not gonna tweet that. I
he
wouldn't
should.
tweet that.
Hey, he's commenting on the show.
Holy Buman, what a piece of mark.
Hashtag that show smelled like Mark. So, last week, we actually had sort of a serious show last week, and we did not do that this week. I wouldn't
No
classify this
serious
as
show.
I wouldn't classify this as an overly serious show.
Are you
But-
saying last week wasn't serious and then this one's a little?
Last week
Oh.
was serious.
Oh, what?
We didn't laugh about anything.
What are you talking
It was
about?
terrible.
I had such a fun show. I don't
Did
know
you?
why, but last week I didn't have one care. I was like, I don't care if this show goes to hell.
It showed
It's like,
because
I don't
you
care at
contributed nothing. You showed up like 15 minutes late. You didn't have any
How does that
videos.
work?
You didn't say anything intelligent for the entire hour, and me and Kevin sat there and struggled.
Is this normal?
like there was
though?
two
This
marks
thing
here.
is-
That's
Yeah.
hold on.
That show was marked up.
Then it's me to the mark. And it's like there was 2 marks. Ah,
You were a GD mother marker that day.
That's so good.
yeah, that's rough.
All right. I can't. I feel I actually had something serious I was going to say, but I can't really say it.
You're
because
kind
it's-
of being marked.
It's sort of. No, I love Mark. If I didn't, I would never do this to somebody.
I know.
Actually,
It would suck if it was just
I'm actually being genuine.
I am
funny.
too. I'm surprised Michael fell for it. So we have to take a joke away from Michael because Michael actually went and erased one.
no.
Last week we talked about the government shutdown. I hate the topic of the government shutdown, and so we didn't address it again today. I'm mad because the government did not shut down. We were all told that Congress needs to figure this out or the government's going to shut down. And then what happened? Nothing. The only thing that got shut down was parks.
An Amber Alert.
And Amber Alert. And they weren't going to bury the soldiers that are coming home having given their life for our country. And one at a time, as the people have gotten outraged, they've all said, all right, we'll pay for that too. Where are you getting the money? You didn't extend the debt ceiling.
Nope.
They are wanting to extend our debt ceiling $1 trillion. The reason they are wanting to extend our debt ceiling $1 trillion is because the new healthcare system is going to cost that, and that's
Easy.
their latest.
in the first 4
That's
months.
the
I
latest.
don't understand the debt ceiling. Like, why do we even still have one? It's like whenever we reach it, we just raise it. So it's like, what's the point? We
And
just
that's
have one.
and
Done
that,
27 times.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is why.
Government sucks.
Well, and this is why I honestly feel like the country that I grew up in, the country that my parents grew up in, and the country that their parents grew up in is gone. And we're
I feel like I've watched
entering
it changed.
an age now where think about how much your life has changed in the last,
5.
let's say, 8 or 9 years. 8 or 9 years ago, there was no such thing as an iPhone.
I had a left hand.
There was no smartphone.
5.
I had since I've been in Texas, it's only been 6 years. I got a BlackBerry a year after I was here, and I thought the BlackBerry was the coolest thing in the world. I remember opening it up. I couldn't believe all the stuff it did. It did stuff I was never going to learn.
LG, the company LG is actually building a new phone that's a flexible material. It's like you can like bend it and stuff, and it's like a phone. It's like a little sheet of plastic that's your phone.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
He totally marked up
So-
your story, Dave.
it's a wave of the future.
I thought that was relevant.
No, I'm just saying because that's what I always think about. Like when you mention like a BlackBerry, it's like 10 years ago, you tell somebody about your iPhone, they'd be like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!"
Wait until Google Glasses are out.
And now,
everywhere.
now we talk about BlackBerries, and Jerry Jones got caught last week during the Cowboys game, talking on his flip phone, and he got so much crap over. He's like, "Oh my God, he's a billionaire, but he's still got a flip phone." For a while, flip phones were like amazing. Everybody wanted one.
Yeah. Remember the Razor? The Razor was like the coolest.
10, 15 years from now, like people are going to look at like the smartphones we have today, like, oh my God, you're still using a smartphone like that.
They got the internet embedded into their eyes. So the thing is, we've been watching this dance in Washington that's really just a show, and we're supposed to be outraged by this government shutdown. Meanwhile, nothing has actually shut down, and it gets shut down for a minute. One of the things we joked about, one of the things that Michael tried to do, and it wasn't funny, not a single thing about it was funny, it didn't even make sense. He talked about some sort of papier-mâché glasses on Mount Rushmore.
As a joke.
I didn't get it.
Just kidding.
You should. I'm just kidding. But guess what? They actually did close Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
They put cones up on the freeway, so you're not allowed to go in and look at the mountain.
Yep.
That's fun.
It's like,
what? I was just
it
kidding.
Free to get in before?
I think they listened to the dummy load.
It was free to get in before.
Yeah, it's a mountain.
I think
that's stupid. That's because that cuts out the point of the show. It's to save money. And
it's a national monument, and just like everything else, it's part of the National Park Service.
Yes,
and everything else, they're closing all of it.
Government owns the land, but the point is, there's just no reason. I mean, it's just insane. So. And one thing that we've heard the president say over and over again, and Harry Reid, who's the Speaker of the Democrats, and they say, the Republicans shut down the government, and it's just incredible. How could they? How would they? This is unprecedented. It's never been done before. I just wanted to read from you one of the statements from one of the senators. Increasing the statutory limit on the public debt, congressional record. Increasing America's debt weakens us domestically and internationally. Leadership means that the buck stops here. Instead, Washington is shifting the burden of bad choices today on the backs of our children and grandchildren. America has a debt problem and a failure of leadership. Americans deserve better. I, therefore, intend to oppose the effort to increase America's debt limit. Signed March 16th, 2006, Barack Obama. That was him while he was a senator 2 years before he was elected president.
Jeez.
I know that what he's saying is partisan in that he's saying it because he's opposing the other party, but I couldn't agree more with that statement, regardless of whether it was him or someone else.
Yeah, no, that's the point.
It's what you're saying is principled, and it's right. The problem is that you don't actually care about the principles. You're just using it because it's convenient at the moment. And just like everybody else, Republican or Democrat, you change your stance based on who you're opposing and where the power is coming from.
And
none of them give a crap about the principle behind what's actually being said.
And in 2006, all the Republicans voted to raise it. The Democrats voted to defund it. And now it's just a game.
Yeah, everybody's switch sides.
It's really frustrating, and I think that there is big trouble ahead because when a government starts going this out of control, when it starts taking over everything and starts moving in the same direction this fast, the people are in for it.
Yeah.
And the people that I know don't pay attention. They're not watching. And they think America's good. It's always been good. It'll always be good. And I think that it is now being run by very bad men who've made very bad decisions. And there are things coming down that are going to affect each and every one of us in the next year or two that is going to shock us. And we're just going to get used to it because it's incremental. You don't notice it. We're so used to things changing so fast. We're so used to the iPhone being invented. And all of a sudden, I have the ability to see my email instantly, to check my Facebook instantly. And that new convenience just shows up, and I get used to it overnight. And it becomes a right. It becomes something I'm entitled to and accustomed to. And so the country's the same thing. As we move into a different, we just accept these things. My grandparents would not have accepted the TSA. They wouldn't have flown.
Yeah.
But their society wouldn't have required them to fly. They would have gone to the airport. They would have seen scans that can see through your body. They would have seen people getting pat down like we're in some concentration camp. I mean, like we're going into some sort of crazy scenario, like we're going into prison. And they would have said, keep your flight. I'm not going. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
as someone that
you're not
flies,
touching me.
As someone that flies twice a week,
Uh-huh.
I've become pretty numb to that. Right? I mean, I'm used to.
You get used to it.
We're all used. I don't
get
fly that
scanned-
often, and I'm used to
I
it.
get scanned twice a week, and I don't think
No one
anything
wants to
about
see
it.
that, and Kevin
But-
doesn't want to see that.
No, seriously. I'm like, well, you guys are in for this. You did it yourself.
Imagine if they scanned Mark.
Who knows what kind of weird
Right.
crap they would find.
They would do the opposite of what they do every
but
time
I-
Kevin goes in. Where they're like, can you stand back a little bit? We're going to have to zoom out for this one, people.
Taylor, it won't go out enough. I'm turning the knob all the way. It doesn't go.
It's all the way up.
The airport's not big enough.
No, but I'm used to seeing all of this, and so I've become pretty numb to this. But in general, there's two things recently that have made me kind of completely agree with what you just said, Dave. That in general, the general populace is ignoring it. There's only a small percentage of people that are seeing it and realizing that a reckoning's coming. And for one, it's whenever I'm in the airport now, I see a lot more TSA presence. They are everywhere.
It seems to be crazy.
They're walking around in groups of 3 or 4 in the terminals, checking
Just
people
looking
out,
around,
harassing people in general. And then the other thing is, I was on Facebook the other day, saw that a friend posted that they had just looked at their health insurance plan. They'd gotten a letter from their health insurance company saying, congratulations, for the next year you can continue paying $200 and some odd a month for your health insurance. But after that, your policy is no longer going to be provided by our company, and your best alternative is the Affordable Care Act, and your policy is going to cost you in the neighborhood of $600 to $800 a month.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're all in for that, and that's just a fact. I mean,
it's just
if you don't know that you are
down.
going to be paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars more because of this, then you're dumb. I mean, you really are.
I think if you do pay attention, you do listen, you're obviously pretty frustrated with this whole scenario. I feel like I can see somebody getting up on a soapbox and just going, you know what? Let's be done with this. And then people are going to start, like Greece and England, just start losing it and just start to break stuff because it's like the government's literally reaching into our pockets. It's the first time ever that a government's punishing people for not doing something if you don't get the CARE Act.
That's not the first time ever. There's a lot of
in America.
Okay, that's the first time our government has
required
required you to buy something to be a good standing citizen.
I think it's going to take. I think some guy's going to do it though, and it's going to start going crazy, and it's going to be just doubly as
then
bad.
they'll just clamp down, and then the TSA will get big. And I mean, they've already talked about turning post offices into Homeland Security offices.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it's going to. Both paths are bad.
Yeah,
it's like there's either going to be Viva la Revolucion over here, or just more and more sheep.
I have no idea what that means.
Live the revolution.
I think it's funny. Funnier than any of the Mark jokes so far, coming from you.
I have 5.
You have 5. You grade yourself on such.
No,
a
I
curve.
did not.
Did you take one?
It looks like I won.
Not. I had
10.
5 solid ones. Yeah, Dennis won. Dennis said 10. Nice.
Congratulations, Dennis.
Thanks.
So I brought back Jose Can Say What this week. We're not going to post a poll in the videos. I just hope you enjoyed them. Nobody votes anyway.
Yeah, it's a wash.
The listening audience is the least participatory group of people I've ever met.
Well, it's sort of our fault. We haven't participated back with them very much. So
that's true.
Hopefully now with the new chat, we'll
get to hear more from them.
Yeah.
At least during the show. Well, they're going to have to talk to Mark. So.
And who in the hell would want to do that?
So coming up on Sunday is our good friend Ashley's birthday. Ashley Hitchcock, who hosted a show with us a couple weeks ago, is turning 37.
She's only 36.
Oh, sorry, Ashley. She's a good friend of ours, good friend of the show. Happy birthday, Ashley! And Jose Can Say What? Oh shoot, my thing turned off. All right. This is from Jose Canseco's Twitter account, 11 of October at 6:20 p.m. Wow, all you ignorant people think I have money. Do your research. It's the complete opposite.
Why?
Well articulated.
Does he tweet himself? I think he just. I don't. He probably thinks he's saying that.
You ignorant people think
stuff.
I have money? Do your research. It's the complete opposite.
Wow, you ignorant. You guys all are so stupid.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's in a whole conversation of him asking people, "Hey, I'm going to be in Disney World. I'm flying to Florida to be in this tournament for, 100-year-old baseball."
He's probably going, "Oh, I have to see if I can get the cheapest Affordable Care Act plan."
So he was looking for cheaper Disney World tickets.
Do you have that?
Tickets are expensive.
Do you have the other tweet by James Woods?
That was the tweet of James Woods, was what Barack Obama.
Oh, he tweeted that.
He tweeted a picture of the congressional record of Barack Obama signing. That was his statement. In 2006.
Excellent. Jesus.
So and he said, people said, are you worried about catching flack in Hollywood? I mean, how are you saying all this stuff about the president? I mean, Hollywood's very liberal and they love this president. And he says, I don't expect I'll ever work again, but the country's going down. I mean, we've hit the Titanic, and
everyone's going up.
Our job is to decide now, while it's still easy, how are we going to respond, and who are we going to be in that situation when the Titanic? We'll do a Titanic story one of these days.
Yeah. When it
hit the iceberg, no one believed it happened. They hung out forever. People were refusing to leave the bar, and they were all playing. They were just saying, "Oh no!" People were saying, "We hit an iceberg; it's going to sink." The boat still seems fine. We're not going to sink. Down below, they were taking in water. They had no idea, and for hours, people were just ignoring it. And the people in charge knew that there was never going to be a problem, so they hadn't loaded all the lifeboats. But even when it hit the iceberg, they didn't even get all the lifeboats unloaded because people had been denying the fact that it hit.
It was unsinkable.
And so,
just like America's unfailable.
That's where we got the women and children first. And there are men who helped women and children get into the lifeboats that were there, and they just sacrificed their own lives for the sake of the women and children. And those men knew who they were before the situation. Mm-hmm. They didn't get there and go, "Okay, I guess I'll die now."
No,
they knew what the right was, and I think right now, I think we've kind of hit the iceberg, and so
I'm excited.
Happy birthday, Ashley, and thank you for joining us this week. Look forward to seeing you next Friday at 8:00 for the Dummy Line.
Unfortunately, Mark will be there.
Nice.